I know sometimes I've got it coming. I'm not an angel. Besides, sometimes I say things without thinking first. My mom says, he's a little impulsive. My father says, the kid talks too much. My sister Florence says to me, somebody must have dropped you on your head when you were little. Which, if it's true, I suspect it was my sister Florence who dropped me. Florence was never crazy about me. She's 7 years older and was not happy when I came along. When can we take him back? Florence asked. He's your brother, we're keeping him, Mom told her. Can't we get a puppy instead? Florence wondered. Hell, she doesn't even like dogs or any other kind of animals. Once I brought home a kitten and she jumped up on a chair and screamed. Maybe somebody dropped her on her head when she was little. You were an accident, Florence said to me. You were a mistake. 2. I learned not to trust Florence pretty early. We were at a lake. I was 3, I guess. So Florence would have been 10. She was making a mud pie. And when she was done, she took a big spoonful and shoved it into my mouth. I started crying and Mom started yelling at me for eating dirt. I told him not to, Florence said. So we don't get along so well. I got back at her last year. I was 9. Florence was going on a date. You look awful pretty, her date said when he came to pick her up. I think she looks pretty awful, I said. Florence ran to find Mom and complain about my big mouth. That's when I pulled out the pictures I had in my pocket. Here, I said, handing them to her date. I just wanted to give you an idea of what a treat Florence can be. They were naked baby pictures of her from when she was about 1. The guy laughed and blushed. I thought it was great until Florence and Mom came into the room and saw what I was doing. Florence screamed and tried to smack me. Mom sent me to my room. Wait until your father gets home, she said. I figured Dad would just laugh. He did laugh. He also smacked me with his belt. Anyway, I think it was worth it. 3. Don't get me wrong, though. Getting smacked by Dad is not to be taken lightly. He's a very tough guy, and he will sometimes smack me just for walking into the room and making too much noise. When we were on vacation last summer, we stayed at a motel in a lake. That's mostly what people do around here. We go to lakes and get bit by mosquitoes. Anyway, there was a restaurant next door, a real greasy spoon, Florence called it. It looked okay to me. I went inside and I saw the menu on the wall behind the lunch counter. I thought I was in heaven. Hamburgers cost only 35 cents. Cokes were a dime. I guess I got excited. So I ran into the motel room and hollered, hamburgers are only 35 cents. Dad hit me so hard I went flying into the wall. He looked at me and shook his head and walked outside. Now look what you did, Florence said. My nose was bleeding. I was crying. Go outside, Florence, but leave your father alone, Mom said. Then she got a wet washcloth to wipe my face and hold against my nose. He didn't mean it, she said. What did I do? I held the washcloth against my nose. It's because of the war, because of the concentration camp. He didn't mean it, she said. 4. Dad is an atheist. He doesn't believe in God, but Mom is religious. That's why I have to go to Hebrew school at the yeshiva. First, I go to public school, and after that, I get on the bus and go to Hebrew school. I go from 4 to 6 p.m. every weekday except Friday, and then from 10 a.m. until noon on Sunday. I think Mom wants me to go so I can stay out of trouble and get ready for my bar mitzvah. I hate it. The rabbis at the yeshiva hate us afternoon school kids. You're too American, they say, which is strange because in public school, I don't feel American enough. I'm the weird kid who doesn't play any sports. So during public school, I mostly try to avoid getting beat up because I'm different. And at the yeshiva, I goof around or hide in the chapel to avoid going to class. For a while, I tried to take Hebrew work seriously. I made an effort and got pretty good grades, but Rabbi Brown, my teacher, said, "You'll probably never do this well again." So I stopped caring and just joked around. Rabbi Brown looked at me with disappointment. "I'm not mean or evil," I said. "No, just profane and blasphemous," he replied. I didn't know what that meant. "Being glib and ironic is not a sign of wisdom," he said. So now I have one more person who finds me disappointing. 5. So today is Sunday. It's my 10th birthday. So what did I get to do? I got to go to Hebrew school. I was not thrilled. I decided that I might as well be glib and ironic. I was in the parking lot when Dad arrived to pick me up. "Happy birthday, kid," he said. "Thanks, I guess," I replied. "You guess?" he asked. "Well, it doesn't seem very important. Nothing big happened, you know. Nobody was born, nobody died," I said in my ironic voice. So he slapped me, and I wept. "Get into the car, you idiot," he said. "Now something important happened. Now you have a birthday to remember." Kind of a sad ending.